Have you ever thought why these group discussions are being kept in any interviews or any selection process, that is off campus or on campus trials? Why they are keeping is because they just want to test whether you are able to express your views in a group, whether you are able to communicate with the group members, whether you are keeping the decorum of the group discussion. So that is very important when you are working in a company. Okay, so that is why they are keeping group discussions, or that is what the importance of group discussions are. Group discussions are one of the scariest things, whether it is off campus or on campus trials. So in this video, we'll be doing some tips, or we'll be saying about some tips in order to prepare for group discussions. Also, I'll be sharing 20 most relevant and recent group discussion topics that can be come in any of the on-campus or off-campus trials. Okay. The first tip you have to keep in mind while going for group discussion is that you have to be relevant. That is, whenever you are going to speak about a subject, you have to say about the things which are relevant to that subject. You can also add numbers or figures in order to emphasize your point. And also you can say that whenever somebody is speaking, or after that you are speaking, you can say that I support with that person, or I agree to that person, or I disagree to that person. But you cannot copy the entire point from that person. You have to be relevant to the topic. You cannot just go on speaking something and something. But so you have to keep this thing in mind, that you have to be relevant to the topic. The second thing to keep in mind is that you have to maintain a good body posture. That is, when you sit, you have to sit straight. Also, don't just cross your arms across your chest. That shows a bad manners while you are talking in a group. Also, you have to maintain eye contact. So this three things you have to keep in mind. Body posture. You don't have to cross your hands, or just be comfortable while you're sitting. Also, you have to maintain an eye contact. So these things will improve your quality while you are sitting in a group and discussing about anything. So this thing is the second thing you have to keep in mind. The third thing you have to keep in mind while going for group discussion is that don't ever be aggressive. You may have a lot of disagreement, or you may have a lot of aggression for somebody's view, but you cannot express all those aggression. Okay, so you have to just calm down yourself. You have to compose and calm down first, and then you have to speak. You cannot shout in a group discussion. So that is the third thing you have to keep in mind, that is, you cannot be aggressive. The fourth thing you have to keep in mind while going for group discussion is that don't just sit and wait for your chance. Nobody is going to give you a chance when you're sitting like that. Okay, so early bird always catches worm. So that policy is really important when going for group discussion. So don't just sit and just wait for your chance. Just try to take a lead. Whenever somebody is speaking, try to add on to that statement, and then you have to start. Don't just keep on waiting for your chance. You will never get a chance in group. So everybody just want to impress the interviewer or the employer. So nobody is going to give you a chance. You have to take your chance and you have to speak. Okay, so that is the next thing you have to keep in mind. Don't just go on waiting for your chance. The fifth thing you have to keep in mind while going for group discussion is that don't crisscross your views. So the topics, some of the topics will be like for or against. So some persons will be talking for that topic, some persons will be talking against that topic. So while you are speaking, you have to first make a mind that are you for or against that topic, then you have to speak. Don't ever go on speaking like for or against. And don't mix these ideas, like you are speaking for on the first time, next time you are going to speak against. So that is a wrong thing. You cannot speak like that. You have to stick on either for or against. Otherwise, the person who is hearing your views will be thinking that you don't have an opinion, that you are crisscrossing your ideas. Okay, so please keep this thing in mind. Don't crisscross your views. You have to go either for or against. The sixth thing and the very important thing while going for group discussion is that you have to make multiple entries. Yes, you have speak once. Now it is not time that you can sit and rest. Next time you have to try for another chance. You have to speak another relevant point. So you have to make multiple entries. This thing is very important while going for group discussion. That is, you have to make multiple entries. The multiple entries means you have to speak multiple times. You cannot just sit like that okay, I have talked once, that is enough. You cannot sit like that. You have to make multiple entries, or you have to speak multiple times. The seventh tip is that you have to give space to everyone. That is, you have to give chance to everybody. yes, you have to take a lead, you have to try for a chance, but others also have to speak, right? So it is not like a monologue, you are only the person speaking throughout the group discussion. It is a group discussion, so you have to give chances to everybody. You have to give spaces, that is talking spaces, to each and every person in the group discussion. Okay, eighth tip is that when somebody is talking, you are not simply sitting and listening. You are framing your sentences and points while somebody else is speaking. So you are hearing the person's speech or whatever the person is saying. At the same time, you are framing sentences in mind. That is what you are going to speak next. This is very important because you are not given a separate time for framing your sentences or think about the subject. So the time you will get is when somebody else is talking. So when somebody else is talking, you are listening to the sentences, and also you are just framing the sentences you have to speak in mind. Okay, so this is very important. You can't simply sit and listen. You have to think of what you have to speak. The ninth tip is that you have to always improve your communication skills before going for a group discussion. So whenever you're going for a group discussion, you are going to speak in the midst of a group of people. So if you're having good communication skill, means you will stand out in the group discussion. So whenever you're going for a group discussion, the interviewer will be choosing those gems from the group who is having good communication skills, relevant ideas, everything. So you may have a lot of ideas, a lot of relevant things to say, but if you don't have the communication skill, means you will fail. So always keep this thing in mind, that you have to improve your communication skill before going for a group discussion. The last tip before going for group discussion is that this is not a one-man show. This is very important. So when you are going for a group discussion, it should be a group discussion and it should be a healthy discussion. So you can you have to try to take a lead, but you cannot always carry the flag. That is, you have to give chances to other persons to speak. You have to think about what they have said. You have to either have an opinion about their views. You have to either agree or disagree to their views. So all these things should happen in a group discussion. Only then it will be a healthy group discussion. When you're sitting in a group discussion, you have to keep these things in mind, that you are being judged on all these things. That is, whether you are taking a lead, whether you are giving chances to others, whether you are being opinionated about their views, whether you are talking about relevant things, that is, whether you are adding facts and figures to the things which you are saying. All these things the interviewer is examining. That is, when you are in a group discussion, you have to take all these things in mind. You have to give chances to others, which is really important. If somebody is keep on going talking in a group discussion, most of the time that person will get rejected because it is not a group discussion happening. So all these things you have to keep in mind. So these are the 10 tips which I have to give you if you are preparing for a group discussion. Next, we are going to see 20 relevant and most recent group discussion topics which can appear in any of the group discussions which is going to happen recently.